Hello there, and welcome back to World of Warships on the Series X. I am your host, Derka, and today I have one of those games for you that you just have to watch to believe. Like the 303 song from high school, yep, it's a photo finish. For the longest time, I have bit my tongue and kept my silence in in-game chat, and I think it's for the best, because I could definitely have some Alex Jones style qualities and some rants that might end up on YouTube or, hell, CNN. So usually I cuss and rant to my dog Ripley, who is here beside me at the helm, and she doesn't seem to mind. I try and stick with the comm wheel in-game, because hey, let's face it, I'm a comm wheel admiral, and the incessant pings are all I usually need to feel heard, and to release some of that pent-up frustration that can happen when you're just a small cog in the wheel of your team of 9. Or 5 in this case. Also, usually I try to refrain from sending messages, but this match, I just couldn't hold it in any longer. So here we are in the Massachusetts, the Tier 7 Premium American Battleship, and one of my favorite BBs to play when I do suffer through solo battleship play without a division. We ended up with a 5v5 match, which I don't mind, I suppose. Sometimes it's a nice change of pace. Sure, good luck getting your Kraken or the Havoc missions or 23 fires in 5v5, but we were just messing around here anyway. 5 versus 5 sometimes means you can do stupid stuff, be pretty aggressive, and maybe even, dare I say, brawl? It's been one of the reasons I've been excited for Arena to come back. Loading up in a division with 3 of the same ships means no rock, paper, scissors type gameplay. It's all rock on rock or scissors on scissors, which is always a good time. So, middle spawn, and I spawned next to a New Orleans, and I'm not going to lie, this ship is one that does not inspire confidence. But really, this dude ends up contributing a lot. He has a good game, and he ends up being a pretty nice guy. More on that later. The New Orleans guy and I both had the same thought. Let's push into the middle and get crossfires on the Nelson and the Belfast over there by sea, who together are a big danger pyromancing team that would set this map ablaze. And speaking of ships that don't inspire confidence, there is just one lonely Colorado over there protecting our carrier from those 2 very powerful Tier 6 ships. Because on World of Warships, a Tier 6 ship is a Tier 6 ship. And we all know that really, they're not created equally. Speaking of our poor Colorado, after being set on fire what must have been a dozen times, he decided to take a dunk underwater to cool off. But I exact revenge and actually detonate the Nelson, giving me my second ever detonation in 3,500 games. Now, I probably have more than that, but I've got to say on this game, you do not see those medals very often. I'm actually not sure how many of those I have. Not a lot. So during this time, the Iowa and the enemy Percival have at A annihilated our friendly Nelson, leaving that side of the map open, and the enemy carrier to start picking on me. Luckily, the Massachusetts is no slouch when it comes to AA cover, and we'll end up finishing this game with over 40, yes 40, planes shot down. The whole purpose of me even starting this match up was to test out Haruna, the Arpeggio commander, on the Big Mamie. The Haruna setup was okay, and her base trait increases secondary battery range and reduces dispersion. But unlike the Bismarck, Mamie already has pretty good secondary battery range. So the results overall were meh, but I think I'm going to need to do a little more testing and maybe put some more points into that secondary goodness, like having Von Hipper as an inspiration, or even switching over to Willis Lee as the main commander and using Porcupine. It's probably something you could actually get away with more on the American battleships, because you have the artillery plotting room in mod slot 3, and that improves dispersion by 11%. So 4.5 minutes into the game, and we're left with a decision to make. Also, we have 19 planes shot down. So the decision: circle back to protect B-Cap and fight the Iowa, or push out to this side and try to smack this enemy carrier while I can. He hasn't done a whole lot of damage to me at this point, but given the opportunity, he will, so I decided to go ahead and go out this way. And as a bonus, we got rid of that pesky Japanese cruiser. So getting caps in a game like this could not be overstressed. In Domination, one cap circle provides 3 points every 5 seconds. This is 36 points every 60 seconds. So as you can imagine, in as short as 3 minutes, your team could be losing by around 100 points. Keeping some of those stats in mind during the game is really important, and just like in this game, that literally comes down to seconds. Whether or not you got a cap at the beginning could mean all of the difference. Sometimes a little math is needed, so you can decide if you need to push into caps or just kill an enemy ship, or hey, both. But one thing is for sure, never stop checking the score in Domination. It's really easy to focus in on a particular ship and get the dreaded tunnel vision, but losing track of the score in Domination can lead to lots of losses. Right now in this game, we are down by a little under 100 points, and partially because this Iowa has been on our B cap, preventing our points from accruing, giving them a little bit of an advantage. My plan, one, to get this Parseval out here, but also just to lead the Iowa away so that he can't kill my carrier, and to keep allowing B cap to get more points. Does it work? Well, stick around to find out. This game was definitely not played flawlessly by me at all. The side of the Iowa is like an optical illusion. The ship is so long that it looks like you have a good broadside shot, when in reality, looking at the map shows that, well, the guy's angled really, really well. I do try to hit his guns and superstructure a few times, but there are several times where my shells just harmlessly bounce off the side of his ship because he's angled way more than it looks like. Finally, I get a crack at this Parseval, and again, I think I maybe overestimated how easily I could pin this ship, and we get some bounces off the side here when he angles out. I've never actually, I don't own the Parseval, I don't play carriers much, so I wasn't sure how much armor the thing actually has. It's German, so who knows, maybe it's pretty heavily armored. Speaking of the armor angles, I keep trying to bait this Iowa into doing what I was doing to him, and that is getting him to shoot at my sides while I'm still angled. That way I could get some auto bounces off the meaty armored sides of the Massachusetts. For his credit though, this guy continues to shoot up high superstructure and continues to whittle me down. Also, I'm trying my best to get some distance between me and him. That way I could keep him underneath my secondary guns and be out of range of his and not be at risk of catching fire. But the Iowa definitely has me outclassed at speed. So yeah, here, look at the Iowa. It looks like it's nearly broadside, but looking at the map, you know, it's still probably 30 degrees, and you're going to get auto bounces if you're shooting at the sides at that range. It is 100% clear to me at this point that this guy's going to kill me, and there's not much I can do about it. I could never get the turn off fast enough to flip around here for a ram, as I'm certain he would smack me in the sides for some devastating damage, and with his speed he could probably make it back to B cap in time to either cap B, C, or kill our carrier. Speaking of our carrier, what's not clear to me at this time is why he hasn't gone ahead and moved up into C to get the cap and to start accruing us some more points. He is helping me out by sending some torpedo planes up here and some dive bombers, but the Iowa smartly is just keeping angled on me, and he's been eating the torps because they don't hit for near as much damage as my 406s. So I know when the Iowa kills me, we're up on points right now. But when he kills me, we're going to lose 50 points, and they're going to gain 50 points. So they'll be up by 70 points or so, and that will easily have them winning the game. I'm hoping just to scrape around this island, stay alive, and then maybe get some secondary shots, but it is not to be. When I saw the 3,700 health here, I knew it was all over. And this is when I start looking at the map, looking where our carrier is, and wondering why he hadn't capped C. Or at least, you know, during the time that this whole fight was going on, he probably could have sailed up a little bit closer to any of these islands, even the big island or the little island by sea. But by sailing a little bit closer, he could have got a lot more planes out there. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't have a lot of planes yet. The Iowa also had a clear skies. But basically, while we're sitting here, that's when I decide I'm going to send this guy a message and tell him, bro, move up into the cap. And that wasn't dramatic at all, was it? I figure with carrier play, it's pretty passive. It's not like you're in the middle of a Apex Legends map in the final circle. You're playing a carrier on World of Warships. You can probably check an Xbox message, and now we just wait to see if we hear back from him. So that's when we hear it, the sweet, sweet word, Roger. And he starts moving up. Now, I'm doing the math in my head thinking, like, if it takes this guy 2 minutes to sail up into cap C, 60 seconds to cap, the Iowa's going to be back at B. And I'm really thinking, dude, I just shot myself in the foot because this guy, he's just sailing his carrier and he's not actually launching any aircraft to get back to the Iowa. So maybe he didn't have any planes left. You know, like I said earlier, the Iowa had a clear skies. I don't know how quickly the Parseval regenerates planes. I've never played it. But yeah, at this point I was getting really concerned that even if he capped, it was too late. He wasn't going to be able to get the points enough to catch back up with red team. So he's pretty much has to kill the Iowa. So earlier at the very beginning of this video, I said I don't delve into the voice channel stuff. And to be honest, I didn't know you could do this. I was checking out the map thing and I was like, man, is there just a way that I can like talk out loud? And apparently if you go to the map and then click one of your bumper buttons, you can communicate with your team. So I'm trying to, you know, talk to this guy like, hey, open your map and use your waypoints to get your carrier to go into C and then continue launching airstrikes on this Iowa and try to kill him so that you're doing both things at the same time. So when I started talking, apparently the guy in the New Orleans heard me and hit Roper, a PS4 player, and he was saying the same thing, like, man, why didn't this guy, the carrier, move up and cap earlier? So I explained that I had sent him a message and hopefully this was going to work out. But really, I forgot this was a feature. Back in the old days, every match that you loaded up in Legends, you could automatically hear everyone talking, or you could talk yourself. And while this is no Call of Duty 4, if anyone ever was in an old Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby, you know just how mean people can be. This game's not that bad, but there are definitely still toxic people out there. So I really don't remember if Legends, it was a feature that they just turned off for everybody, or if I turned it off to where I didn't want to be able to communicate with people via game chat. Either way, here's what I'm thinking. I think I was mistaken. Venom Spite was trying to muster his last little bit of fighters, but in the moment I thought, wow, this guy doesn't know how to use waypoints. But really he was trying to get this many torpedo bombers so that he could go get a strike on Iowa. And a strike he gets, smacking him for what looks like 10 to 15k. He must have caught him outside of the torpedo belt. And kind of holding my breath at this point, thinking if he can get one more strike off with some dive bombers, he can smack this guy and win us the game. And with just 20 seconds left, it's definitely going to be a photo finish. So he sends in his dive bombers. And skunks the Iowa. Oh man. Overall, the match turned out pretty good for all of us, and shout out to Venom Spite and Roper. Thanks guys for being good teammates and making that game one to remember. So the guy messaged me afterwards and said, thanks for the assist, and obviously I was pretty ecstatic to win that one. You know, you take what you can get. And I'm sure that I had lost a couple games before that, and so getting the win felt really great. Well, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have messaged someone mid-game to try to help them out a little bit. Hopefully it was a nice message. Don't forget to like the video, that helps a lot, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos on the way. All right, thanks guys, see ya.